Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be doing a $920 grab bag unboxing. I bought all of this stuff from France, from a dealer there, and I'd previously purchased from him, and so he had put this one together and he quoted me a price that was obviously a little bit more than silver prices. Then combine it with some of the shipping, maybe some tariffs, and you know, I'm definitely paying over silver for this, but at the same time, when I just take a quick look at the outside, it looks like a really interesting mix. And so it's the sort of thing I used to do, like half-pound world coin grab bags, and now I get to do, you know, $900 silver coin grab bags. And that's pretty awesome to me. So this is going to be stuff that then gets put into my inventory, and then either like this coin, you know, maybe I would hold. There's actually, you know, any of the super collectible stuff in here I might think about holding. There's also going to be some stuff that's more like regular that I see a fair amount of that I'll resell, and then there's others of it that'll be like that blend of collection and inventory. So anyways, let's just go coin by coin because there's a ton of awesome stuff right off the top that I'm seeing that's not like what I get in all the time. So right here we have a 1956 Mohammed V Moroccan 500 franc coin, and that's really fascinating. You have the Hijri calendar year and the US calendar year, the Empire Chérifien. I don't know exactly, and it looks like we even got another one right here when we would have ceded control, or not we, I'm not French, but when they would have ceded control and had independence. So that would be an interesting thing to follow up on. We've got a nice RAM 1957 Australian shilling. We have a Third Reich coin of von Hindenburg, the Third Reich Germany 1939. This is interesting. It's like the date is over here in Latin numerals, so that's going to be 1873, a florin coin of the United Kingdom. Queen Victoria, a younger head of hers. Let's see what this is, a Angeboten door de Gemeente Assen. It seems like a more modern. Let's see if we have anything on the edge. I'm not sure what purity this would have been, but it looks like some kind of a silver medal, Jesus and the Mother Mary. I'll have to look this one up, but that's a really interesting one, and it really reminds me of some of those Hungarian deniers, the way that they've constructed it. Same thing on this end. It doesn't say argent or anything like that. That clearly marks the silver purity, but this one reminds me of like early 1900s, late 1800s, a lot of bovine themes with the cow's head, and then a wagon down below, ram, sheep, and a farming scene on the other side. This one's by J. Lagrange, and you can see the windmill. Actually, a very cool metal there. Looks like we have a 1,000 yen coin from Tokyo, a little bit cleaned, 39th year of the Showa era of Japan. Let's see, this one looks incredible. That one's a 30 sols from France, much earlier. It's been chopped up a good bit. Let's see, that's probably Louis the 17th or 18th, and I'm not sure what year this would have been, but probably will have a date range for it eventually in the 1790s or so. I've never seen this coin either. 1928 10 escudos from Portugal with a fantastic horse scene on there. 1139. That is actually one of the coolest coins I've seen, and I've never had one of these in my collection. So that is maybe one that I will be holding on to for sure. We've got a 10 escudo ship coin from 1922, 55. 22 here is this 10 centimes, 68% silver from French Indochina. A lot of that is kind of modern day Vietnam or so. And then we have a 10 franc coin here, also from the Moroccan Empire. We have some of the Sower 5 franc. This is actually the design that would inspire, ooh, nice toning on that one, the Walking Liberty $50 in the States. And then right here, ooh, another 64, another Portuguese 1932, a little bit older, and then this kind of intermediary 1931 10 francs design. There was the Ceres type, but then they switch it up with this Turin engraved obverse. We also have 1875 and some interesting German silver, which I haven't had in my inventory for a little while, and then a beautiful 1871 2 francs, the Ceres design, 1906 1 mark. The Germans, for their larger coins, like I see this 3 mark here, they would have done prior to World War One. They would have it be either Prussia or Bavaria, or which one's this one? This one's Prussian, Wilhelm II. But they would have kind of a federal state. They wouldn't differ the designs on the 1 mark or the 50 Pfennig or anything like that. This one's a half mark 1905, so similar situation here. This is one of the lowest percentage silver coins. It's a 10% silver 1958 Mexican peso, a Morelos peso. We've got more Mohammed Sharifian. We've got another Prussian 1910 mark, and then right here we see Monaco, Prince Rainier or King Rainier the Third, 5 franc. Some British shillings, a Reichsmark 1926 from kind of that Weimar era in Germany. Another Rainier 5 franc, this time from Monaco. And then we have a 1946 half crown from Britain. It looks like we're going to get a couple of Cuban coins that would have been struck in the United States, 1948. They were always to that 90% purity. Another Mohammed, super interesting. That one's got like some nice toning and reflective surfaces. That cup is really cool, and I'm gonna see if I can put all the coins kind of in the cup as we go and inventory them. But again, a bunch of different interesting types here. We've got a half mark, 25 cents from the Netherlands. A Wilhelm 1909, a little bit earlier, 2 mark. We've got a Belgian 1887 franc and a smaller Moroccan type. And then over here, a 50% silver, larger 1935 crown of King George V. How cool. Over here, whoa, this is the 3 mark 1913 beautiful commemorative Königreich und alle Kammern. This one would have been from somewhere in Germany. I want to guess Hamburg, but I'm not really sure. 100th anniversary of some sort of war. Then we have a Portuguese Mozambique, 1960. It looks like 5 escudo type. Another smaller German one, half mark. Maybe a shilling with no date. Another nice. Australia only started making coins in 1910. This shilling in this nice of condition is certainly a cool premium item. Then we have a Russian ruble, how neat, 1896, 1944 minted Dutch coin, 1877 10 centésimos from Uruguay. That one, I have not sold any of those in a long time. So fascinating. 1869 10 Krajar, 1915 half mark. And then it looks like, it's easy for me to just pick up the larger coins. We're getting a good mix, of the inventory of in this case, a French dealer, 1905, but just the types of world silver that they're getting in. So 1875, 1 mark. I think the Germans form. There's another 1875 and around, early 1870s. So some of the earliest unified German coinage. Let's see. We've also got a 1900 quarter golden of Wilhelmina. We've got a half mark right here, 1907. And then we have a nice 2 mark, a Prussian coin there, 1904. We've got a Vittorio Emanuele 1927 5 lire of Italy. And then, let's see, 1953 Panamanian Balboa Cinquentenario, so a half Balboa or so. It looks like a quarter. Actually, I think this is a quarter. Yeah, Cinquentenario. I guess it's 1/4 of a Balboa. We have another one of the Third Reich coins. A couple more of the second, which is the German Empire. 1954 ship coin. It seems like some similar themes here. Let's go try to find some new types for this hunt. And it looks like staring right at us is a cool Panamanian 1970 half Balboa, which would have been 90% silver, or maybe 40% by this stage. I'll have to look it up because at this stage, the U.S. would have been striking coins in 40% for half dollars. It was actually kind of a rarer year in the U.S., so that's kind of an interesting thought. We have a Napoleon Bonaparte 1852 1 franc is actually sweet. It's cool that it's that early because Napoleon Bonaparte, it's Louis Napoleon Bonaparte. This is the nephew of the original Napoleon. So it's not Napoleon himself, but he takes that name probably obviously after the French revolt in 1848. He comes in and declares himself emperor. Then we have 40 and 45, the shillings there from Britain. It looks like we got another one of those awesome German 3 mark coins. How neat. So cool. We've got a Luxembourg 1929 5 franc, which is awesome. Have not seen any of those in a while. And another Monaco coin from 1960 of Prince Rainier or King Rainier. What is that one? It looks like Baudouin, so it's probably, oh, it's a Belgian coin. 50 francs from 1958 with one of the coolest designs. I'm not normally a big fan of modern Belgian coins, but that one stands out a bit. Then a Moroccan silver coin, and it looks like there's a silver coin in this tray, so I'm going to focus on that at the end. In the meantime, we have a Wilhelm III Dutch coin, 1955 Australian item, a Swedish one of Gustav V in 1940. That one's interesting. 1851 series type. So that's, in that I mentioned Napoleon comes back, Napoleon III. Well, this is how they'd strike coins when there was no king. They would put that embodiment series on the coin. A 50 piastres in back of it of Morocco. I think that's going to be 1333, which who knows how that translates, but it's probably like 1920s, 1930s silver. This one is at 18. Whoa, that one looks kind of early, but maybe it's just 1883 or 1890. I think it's 1893. Alfonso the 13th, he's like a baby, and at that stage he looks like a little child when he ascends to the throne. 1924 German mark, half mark. Let's see, that one's a smaller 1901 1/10 golden of the Netherlands. And then it looks like some other older coins here. That's interesting. A 50 Boni coin of Romania, a Hold half mark, a Federal Republic of Germany 62.5% silver 1975 mark, and last but not least, a nice condition 1917 King George V. And it wasn't actually the last because we've got this as well. So this is insane. This is a dish. It's stamped 800 silver around the edge. I think the inside is like 90 or a little higher percent silver. This is the Patrona Bavariae. I'm not sure what date this would have been, but it would have been sometime in the 1700s. Because not on this side, Max Joseph tray, which is kind of an insane item. But again, would have been Bavarian Germany, a thaler that was converted. I would guess that this would be something like a 1760s coin. But again, was then made into a tray, and it could have been used for any number of purposes, but glad that this was saved presumably from the smelters, and instead we still have it with us today. So thank you so much for watching this. I feel like there were a lot of fun coins. I was really excited about some of the new types that I might be able to hang on to in my collection, some of the cool metals to do a little bit more research on, and then let's see, some of the German. I really like the German types, Portuguese. There's a bunch of neat stuff. So great hunt, and thanks for watching. I'll always be bringing you new stuff.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to head on over to treasuretown.com and sign up for our email list to stay up to date on everything that's happening, whether it's auction updates, exciting new inventory drops, coin collecting news, or general informational resources. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on another one.